Okay, seeing none, Representative Barkis, Representative Chapman, welcome.
Good morning, and thank you, Madam Chair and Ranking, and members of this esteemed committee for the ability to come in and present to you yet another bill for this session for your consideration. I'm glad to have my colleague, Representative Chapman, with me. In 2017, we were both pretty new, very new to our positions, and we had the opportunity to work with the National Federation of Independent Businesses on an idea that had been floating around for quite a while, and that was about establishing a small business bill of rights for the state of Washington. The first steps that we needed to do is find out what we had, what agencies were doing, and how we were going to go about doing that. And so a bill was passed unanimously and signed into law that tasks the Attorney General's office with looking into what was existing in processes and policies surrounding the rights that small businesses have in our state in regards to the following agencies: Agriculture, Ecology, Employment Security, L&I, Department of Revenue, and also the State Fire Marshal Service. That report did come back late in 17, and over the interim and last year, we continued to do more research and talk about this. So this is the next step. The next step is to actually put into statute what we call the Small Business Bill of Rights. And that is to work with these particular agencies to develop a way by which they can notify businesses in our state of the rights that they have. And it is primarily centered around the inspection aspect, or any time that businesses interact with our state agencies. And this may sound, pretty rudimentary. It doesn't already exist and everything else. Well, we had some good findings that did come back from the AG. And one of the key ones, if I may read, it just says that one of the key findings was to improve the efforts to provide transparent, accessible information and assistance to operating businesses early in the process. So, when an inspection happens, somebody walks into your business, you may be a new business, you may not know what is afforded to you as far as a right or responsibility, and it can be very scary. It can be very daunting when all of a sudden somebody's asking you for access to this and access to that, and they need copies of this, and they want to take pictures, and you're like, time out. What's going on here? What do I need to do? This bill would help in that process, because they would have to have that information up front. They would have to know what it is that they're going to be dealing with when coming into contact. Now, in addition to that, there are certain things that are protected that have to remain, and those are things that deal with inspections that are spot visits, especially around our agriculture. Some certain things that, notice is not really the best, because if you knew, you might change the behavior. Some of the things that we need to do to assure safety, and a lot of the different things that these agencies interact with. But other agencies, not so much. I mean, DOR and other ones, and L&I and stuff, these are agencies that interact a lot with businesses out in the community. So I want to let my colleague add a little bit to this, but I will draw to your attention that 39 members of the House of Representatives signed on to this bill bipartisanly. It is a great bill. There's a companion in the other chamber working its way through right now. And I want to commend the agencies for their willingness to work with us on this. We know that there is still some work to do. We're finding out some of the processes about how to do this, what the costs. There is a slight fiscal on this that we're trying to eliminate, but there are some costs in preparing the material, the websites, the information, how that is communicated and such. And the agencies, DOR and others, have been very, very good to work with in wanting to accommodate these findings. And so, Representative Chapman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, and to Representative Barkis. This is our second effort at working to help our small businesses just have some tools and ability to understand what their rights are. I would hope that every one of us has probably had those experiences where we talk to a small business owner in our district and they have a question, or they show us this letter that they got from the state, and then we're scrambling. Maybe, for me, I've tried to pull up information on my phone or something really quick. So I think that this could be beneficial across the state, obviously from downtown Seattle to a very rural small business. And I think we just need to make sure that, folks know what their rights are, and when they interact with state agencies. Most state agencies are there to, provide assistance, but they do ask, give out letters and contacts, and folks need to know. So it looks like we have, this has been one of those issues like Representative Barkis mentioned, 39 House co-sponsors, solid bipartisan support, unanimous support on our first effort, and this is just the next step. So not really sure what the process is, and hopefully you guys will help us figure out, because I know we're after cutoff and we're a little late to the game, so don't know where we can go from here, but would love your help in trying to figure that out for the next step on this bill. And do you have any ideas on that?
Well, just to that point, I would like to express my gratitude to the chair for hearing this bill. We've had some conversations, and as we were approaching the cutoff, it was still trying to come together. As you know, these are big. We're dealing with multiple agencies across the spectrum of the state, trying to gather in, and there's no such thing as a perfect bill right out of the chute, but you try to get it as close to ready for prime time as you can. And we just came up short on getting that through. We tried to right at the last minute, but this committee hears a lot of legislation, as you did. So I really appreciate you doing this today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any questions for the sponsors? Representative Walsh.